Hey, Ag Teacher Thoughts here, coming at you with another video. Happy Sunday. Yes, it's Sunday and I'm here. We have a little bit of work that couldn't be done during the week because my helper today is actually in school during the week. So what we've got behind me is what we're actually working on. This is our Torchmate 4400. And we had some issues with it occur, well, it's been 2 weeks ago. This is the first weekend both he and I could, my helper and I'll introduce him in a moment. First weekend that he and I could both come up together. Last weekend was, of course, Easter. Not going to come up and work on an Easter Sunday. So he's here today to help me troubleshoot. And there's a very particular reason why it is him. This helper is my son. So my eldest son is currently attending college and is majoring in electronics and
industrial electronics.
He's majoring in industrial electronics. Sorry, sounds like being a bad dad when I don't remember exactly what it is. I just know it's in electronics. But this is actually the second time that he's helped me with this machine. We did have what's it been, 6 months? 6 months ago? Beginning of school?
Yeah, about 6 months.
About 6 months ago, he and I came up and we actually did some repair work on some of these sensing cables here. He found just absolutely really super fine hairline cracks where the wires were crossing from the repeated moving of this. So it was actually worn out and it was shorting out. So as it would come through and the wires would flex, it would short out, but when you look at it, you couldn't see the crack, and he was the one that actually located that. Since we've got an issue again, I've gone ahead and actually taken the covering off that we had on here, that we had basically making this look a little bit better. This was initially supposed to just be a temporary repair, but it became a semi-temporary permanent repair because it got the plasma cutter back up and working. And we didn't want to mess with it since it was working and we needed it for the school year. But anyway, we've had a new problem that's arose, which is basically we were doing this sign for a student. They were doing a sign for their farm. And as you can see, this sign is partially cut out. And it got to a point in the sign where it was mid-program running along. And all of a sudden, it no longer had the ability to sense the height of the steel. So the automatic height sensing unit just stopped working. And we don't know why. So we are troubleshooting today. We're going through Lincoln's troubleshooting guide to see if we can best diagnose what's wrong. And we're kind of doing this for two purposes. One, we want to make sure it's not something easy, not something silly, like a broken wire, a bad connection. You know, something that we can fix without having to bring a repair tech down. That's what we're doing. I've gone through it once. He's my second set of eyes. He's going to go through it, but we want to make sure that we're not just missing something obvious. And then we're tracing it down to two of the control units to decide if it's not the wiring, which one of these two control units is bad. This machine is obsolete, so they stopped supporting it many years ago. So if we have a problem, we have to find a vendor that has replacement parts because, yes, plasma cutting technologies has moved on. So the two units, there's two different controllers that it could be, and one of them's not bad on pricing. It's several $100s, and the other one is several $1,000s. So to know which one it possibly is going to be much, much better. Ultimately, we would have to have a repair tech come down and go through it, but it's better to have them have an idea of what they're going to be looking at rather than shooting blindly in the dark trying to decide what's wrong. Our repair techs have to come from not a nearby city, but a much larger city than us. And we basically have to pay from when they leave their door to when they return. So you're looking at most likely several $1,000s in cost of labor because they send them down as a pair and you pay for both guys. And yeah, I've researched this. I've worked with a local repair company and their techs come out of Spokane, which is a little more than 2 hours from us. So knowing what the issue is going to be very important. And also, if it's the cheaper unit, it's probably going to be cheaper just to take a stab and replace it if the diagnostics tell us that that's it, than it is to actually have a tech come down. So that's what we're doing. So this is my son Elijah. This is kind of his deal. Elijah has been working on computers and wiring since he was in elementary school. Elijah, how old were you when you built your first computer out of like donated scrap computers?
I remember I was about middle school, and I think I had gotten like a couple computers from Grandpa, one from the school next to us, and I had like 3 towers I had cobbled together, and they're all kind of lined up on my wooden desk, and I got my little tube monitor, and I'm just kind of flipping between them because I'm poking around with the computers, having fun. It's always been kind of a passion of mine, so I had to have been about 6th, 7th grade, about around there.
I think you might have actually been younger than that.
Might have been younger than that.
Yeah, I think you were still. I think you were. I'm pretty sure it was younger than 6th grade. And then there was one day we were at the library and they were giving away books, and you walked away with was it a C+ or a C++ programming manual?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were in elementary school when you did that.
They gave away that, and then they had a Windows 98. They called it like an encyclopedia. And it was just a whole bunch of computer terms. And I was just like, oh, this is cool. And I ended up learning a few things like binary from it. That was kind of fun. But
I'll let you get back to troubleshooting.
all right. I actually got to test something right now.
Oh, you've got to test something?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're just going to shoot a little bit of a video as we go through with this. For him, this is definitely something that he can use for his coursework. Oh yes, and you're branded today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't planned. It honestly wasn't planned. He showed up upstairs wearing his college T-shirt. So he'll do a report on this and give it over to his professors. Hopefully, as something that he can use for maybe an exchange of one of his coursework things. So this is what he has chosen for a career.
There you go. It's a little bit of a ways from the other wire.
Do you need me to get in there and?
No, I got it.
You got it?
It's sticking.
Okay.
Okay.
So you got continuity on that one?
Yeah, I got continuity on that one.
That's the main sensing wire.
Yeah, the main one. So it's on that top pin. The diagram has it on the bottom.
Is it because that connector is rotated?
No.
So yeah, we're going to keep going on this a little bit. We're going to do some more diagnostics as we work through. And this isn't really a how to repair one of these machines. So if you've clicked on this video for that, that's not it. We're shooting in the dark on this. We're following the step-by-step guide that Lincoln has out for us. But this is more of a video about kind of trades and trade work. So both of my sons have chosen trade work rather than to go to college. Well, a 4-year college. Let me preface it that way.
4-year degree.
4-year degree. So they're both getting associates, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so they're both getting associate's degree in their chosen field. And then if they need further schooling, they'll go ahead and do that. And really what's kind of neat about this is this wasn't as much as their career in tech father telling them to go do it. Both of my boys have actually followed their passions. And he's my computer nerd, living in the basement with all of his computers.
Yep.
Literally. So he had to find he found a career that you would say you enjoy it, right?
I enjoy it.
Right, but he didn't want to take one of his hobbies and make it a job. So he chose this because it's something you enjoy and you find challenging, right?
Yeah, so up until this point, my hobby has usually been programming or fixing older computers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know I had always had sort of a knack and just an interest for troubleshooting. And I remember a couple of years ago, we had a couple house electricians come in, and they were rewiring all the sockets and stuff in the house. And I was going, that could be kind of fun, maybe a little fun. You're fixing things, you're working with electricity, sort of in the realm of what I'm wanting to do. I contacted the ones that had come out and fixed our house, and lo and behold, they weren't looking for any interns at the moment. And at this point, I was out of school. I was trying to think about what I wanted to do with my future. And I was talking with Dad about this, and he said, well, why would you do something like that? You might get a little bored. So he said, how about this little thing called IET? And I had never heard of this before, but apparently it's something way bigger than what I expected. I looked into the program. It's mostly about troubleshooting machines for companies on the job, say like your robots or your CNC machines, just any piece of tech that they may have, sensors, stuff like that. And it was just this whole realm of troubleshooting I had no clue about. And I get to talking to the teacher that we have up at LC, Tony, and it turns out it's this incredible field that you can basically get into any place that you can dream of. You can get into industrial, you can get into medical, you could go to regular just tech. And it's a degree that can take you anywhere, and I had no clue about it. Nobody really even talks about it. So I've been going through it. This is my first semester. I've been learning
It'll be your second semester.
Well, second
Fall,
semester.
yeah. First year.
First semester was, general ed, but second semester, first semester of my major, basically, is what I meant.
Okay.
But, yeah, right now it's been going through the basics of electricity, the basics of troubleshooting, learning Ohm's law, Joule's law, series parallel circuits, the whole realm of things, hitting the ground running, basically. That's sure what it's been. But yeah, it's this whole realm I had no clue about. It's been really entertaining so far. A lot of projects I've had to do that are really fun. A lot of topics that I have gone through that are really interesting. And yeah, there's my little ramble about college so far.
So I'm going to let him get back to doing some troubleshooting. I'm just going to shoot over your shoulder.
Go ahead.
So what he's doing is he's going through a troubleshooting guide. So this is kind of your flow chart on your troubleshooting. We're starting off at the very beginning. We started at step 1. We're on scenario 2.
Yeah.
So we're now on step 1 of scenario 2, and then we've already checked our consumables. The consumables are actually brand new. They've only run this, and there's nothing that really shows us that there's an issue. And then you've gone from the cap, right, the cap through the cord. You did the cap to the connector.
So this whole wire down to the connector that goes into the box is fine.
Yeah.
I got continuity between there. The ground wire seems fine. I might take it off and
clean
it back on a couple times just
Okay.
to verify connection, maybe test continuity. Everything seems fine so far, unless there's, again, like it's a small thing like it was before with these wires, where it was just a little hairline crack and it was shorting out. We'll see. I think we're good to test.
We're gonna test the unit under power.
Yeah. Well,
is that your next step?
Test if it detects this time.
Okay. Oh, okay. So fire it back up and test it from there.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and pause here. Actually, we might make this a little bit of a series. I'm gonna attempt to pause it. But if it doesn't pause, I'm going to give an ending here just in case something goes wrong. So anyway, I hope you're enjoying. I hope you're learning something. Ag Teacher Thoughts out. Oh, stay tuned for part 2, 3, or 4, whatever we end up making.